Good morning, friends. This is Perrin Lovett, and this is the Prepper Post for, let's see what we got here. See if I can get my days right. It's, Thursday, November 5th, 2020. The 5th of November, so happy Guy Fawkes Day to all of you in Great Britain and anywhere else where the gunpowder treason is remembered. I'm got the mic on again today. I'm still not sure if it works. I'm also outside, so might have some competition from a passing dump truck or a motorcycle or that guy, whatever that is, in a Subaru. What do we have today? A day of recovery and some things that I've got to get caught up on. Don't forget your Freedom Roasters coffee. Been advertising that, and we've got a link up. Should be in the description, and I should remember to put it on the FP article today. But what do we have? We've got, I'm doing this the dangerous way before I wrote up my script. I just kind of have all the things linked up here. So we had another shooting in Europe. More of the predictable same, this time in Vienna. And I really hope you can hear me. I did some checks and it sounded okay. But you've probably seen the news, and I'm going to have a link to the Sun and or the Daily Mail because it's not necessarily the best reporting, but they do have a lot of pictures and usually 2 or 3 videos. It was multiple attackers, multiple locations, the same story, and we found out also, as usual, that the number one terror suspect had just been released from prison for attempting to join ISIS, and he was released early because he was deemed not to be a threat. And I've got something to say about that, whether it's in Vienna or Paris or New York, wherever this happens. It's always the same story. And of course, you've got Macron and Johnson, the whole, everybody in the EU. They're shocked, and how could this happen? We're not going to let this happen anymore, as it happens for the 5,000th time. And also, there are a lot of lessons to be learned, especially for preppers, about situational awareness and surviving these events. I watched a video from the Chans that I am not going to link to because it's a little on the graphic side, but it shows this ISIS guy with his AK shooting somebody who froze, fight, flight, or freeze. In this situation, the guy should have run fast, in a perpendicular direction, but he didn't. And you can find that if you want to. There are a lot of videos, apparently. But several years ago, when this stuff really started cooking all over Europe and in the United States, I devised what I call Perrin's first law of terrorism. And I wrote this up on my blog and a few other places. And the law states that anytime you have a terrorist attack, the terrorist is always previously known to the authorities somewhere. And it's every single time. I mean, this guy is known right there. What's his name? Kujim Fez, it doesn't matter. But they not only knew him, they knew he was dangerous. They had him in prison, and then they released him. And now they're shocked that it happened. And I just observed this pattern. And really, it's something that I had noticed in America a long time before. Anytime you have a major crime, frequently the picture of the criminal that they put up is a previous mugshot because, they know. So you can be shocked all you want to, Boris Johnson, and you can talk tough Macron, but at some point it is time to act tough because, you are in a war, whether you like it or not, and the other side is fighting and you're not, you're reacting. I wrote, last week when we had another beheading in France, I wrote a letter to the French people in French, and I said, maybe maybe it's time for the Battle of Tours 2.0. Somewhere in the Republic, there has to be the modern incarnation of Charles Martel, and you need to find him, get behind him, and unleash him. Time will tell. Time will tell. Tying that back into America, we've not heard a lot from ISIS lately. ISIS was claiming a lot of responsibility for a lot of violence in the U.S., and then that was kind of taken over by Antifa and some other groups. Why? Well, I remember when the pandemic started, ISIS said, pull back, let's wait this thing out. You don't want to get sick, when you're carrying out your suicide bombing. But I think with us, they know that you don't interfere with an enemy that's self-destructing. But they're still here, and they're still, they're one of many groups, not ideologies, that they're just waiting. So be ready. Pat Buchanan, I may link to this. Yeah, Pat Buchanan had a beginning of the week interesting article that's kind of in the vein that he's been in for the past 20 years about, can we put this thing back together after the election, as far as we've come? And I'll just link to that. I think the answer is no, although we can certainly move on and have something better. One thing we've got to move past, I'm going to go back to the debt issue that Vox Day was talking about. I guess it was over the weekend. I've got that chart pulled up somewhere. But I saw a report on Bloomberg. Going to put a link down at freedomprepper.com. Despite all this money that the Federal Reserve has given to the commercial banks over the last 13 months, not just this year, but not just the past 13 months, since the Great Recession, since the financial crisis, the last one that never went away, all that money, and biggest U.S. banks aren't as strong as they appear. Well, of course they're not. I mean, because their money it's based on nothing, and just like ISIS and all, the homegrown, all these terror cells, we're about to find out. Although we already know, I've got this chart pulled up now, comparing 1952 prices to current prices, and I'm just going to go with I'm going to go over this again. I covered it once, but just the inflation-adjusted numbers. In 1952, if we're using $20, a house would have cost $89,000. A car would have been about $17,000, and tuition at Harvard, which I think back then was still a real school, would have just been a hair under $6,000. Now today, tuition alone, not lodging, meals, books, or any of the other fluffy stuff that goes along with college these days, a year at Harvard is about $50,000. A car, the average new car in America is about $37,000, and the average house is, get this, $312,000. So those are increases between 2 and 8.5 times the inflation-adjusted 1952 prices. Meanwhile, the average income adjusted for inflation back in the 50s would have been about $33,000. No, excuse me, it would have been $67,000, and today it's only $33,000. So back then, you would have been making I'm singing again. What's that? 3 or 4 times the amount of a new car, and you would have been earning about 3/4 of the price of a new house, and now you're earning 1/10 the price of a house. Somebody's losing ground, and it's not these too big to fail banks. It's us. Anyway, I'll have that linked up. Running kind of long here. One more quasi-financial and societal story I'll just cover. I'm going to have some more stuff on the Freedom Prepper article today. But down in Palm Beach, they are going to tear down Jeffrey Epstein's former mansion. And that's a good thing. And there's a, excuse me, the article, they've got a lovely picture. It's Palm Beach, so all the houses are nice, and you would assume that any house that a billionaire owned would be really nice, so why tear it down? Well, because it's evil. When certain things happen in certain places, they get tainted. I have been to, I'm not going to say in Washington, D.C., but there and other places, I've been to in the presence of some real evil, and you can feel it. I just tore up part of the mic. I really hope that's working. Okay. So it's good. There's biblical justification for leveling things like that to the ground. And I've also been to a few places where you had an evil presence and then something else moved in. And folks, something lingers. Kind of like the timer on this video is just lingering along. Just check out the story and see what you think. And then lastly, to wrap this up, thank you so much for all the comments that are coming in. I'm really bad with advertising and promotions and without the help of the elves videos, but please like the videos. You're doing a great job of that. We have some of the best comments I've ever seen, and spread the word, share. We'll try to get the subscriber base up. I think we're just under 1,000 right now, which is really impressive for just starting out. So again, I want to thank everybody on the team, and certainly everybody who's putting up with these videos. Oh, one more thing I want to tell you. This is semi-personal and inspirational. So like most folks at the beginning of the year, I locked down. I didn't do anything except mull around the house and eat. And I gained my 10 Corona pounds. So when the gym opened back up, I went back in, and I'm happy to report that as of the last time I stepped on the scale, I'm back down to the exact weight that I started this thing at, which is the exact same weight that I graduated high school weighing, and that was quite some time ago. And the weight, you start aging. The weight can be the same, but the shape kind of shifts. What are my daughter, she and her friends, they make fun of dad bod. But you can do it. I have people that are asking me, because at one point I was a little bit larger, and people ask me, well, how'd you do it? Well, it's easy. Eat less, move more. And there's more to it, but those are the basics. And if I can do it, anybody can do it. And what I'm going to do now is use this button to stop the video. I will see you guys back on Friday, and have a beautiful Guy Fawkes Day.